Austin Fischer asks, how do you answer the question to make it or buy it for parts of builds? That is a question that has changed over the years. So way back in, and I'm going to talk about prop weaponry here for my example. In the beginning of my replication of prop weaponry from films, let's see. To begin with, in movies, most frequently, prop weapons are things bolted onto real weapons. That allows them to use a thing they know that shoots things or blanks or muzzle flash, and they put science fiction stuff on it. That's how the pulse rifle is exactly that, and Blade Runner blaster is exactly that. And so when one is replicating prop firearms, one goes out and finds replicas of these original firearms and bolts crap to them, just like the prop master did. And when I was first replicating props, the company Denix, D-E-N-I-X, they make pot metal versions of hundreds of different kinds of guns. And some really rare ones, and many, many, many people's DL-44 Han Solo Greedo blasters are built off of Denix bodies. And bless them for seeding the world with so many of these things, so prop people have things they can play with. I will tell you, at this point in my life, I no longer use Denix parts because I can't abide the softness of their castings. It's not their fault. They're working with their stuff under their conditions, and that's totally fine. Just for me, in my experience, I see it, I recognize it so quickly. I'm always looking for a better, higher quality, tighter version, or a demilled real thing or something like that. So that is one answer about how my make it versus buy it. So that's my buying of that base weapon has changed over the years based just on what I feel like is a more sophisticated approach to the experience I'm looking for from that prop. But you asked, I think, from a frame of, would you buy it? Would you make it if you could buy it? And the answer is, if I could buy exactly, precisely what I was going to make, I'll probably buy it. Yeah. Unless it's something where buying it would cost a prohibitive amount of money. If you wanted to hire a machinist to make you a Hellboy Samaritan out of aluminum, that would cost you a lot of money. And that would cost me a lot of money, and I'm not going to spend that. I'm not going to pay someone thousands and thousands of dollars to build this thing for me when I could do it. It's just going to take me a few weeks. So yeah. There's a bit of a cost analysis. There's a bit of a fun analysis of yeah, I think I could do this, so I really want to try. There's definitely that. But there's so much sophistication within the Star Wars weaponry replication zone of prop collecting that I haven't needed to build my own version of any of those, because what's out there, Rey's blaster or Mando's blaster or the DL-44, what people are putting out in the prop community is of such a high quality and such a high fidelity to the original that I have no reason to try and reinvent that wheel. And I have no problem not reinventing that wheel. So for me, what's fun is to buy those pieces and then weather them and bring them in. The one piece I didn't do that is Adamantium's Jyn Erso blaster, which just shows up weathered and is magnificent. Okay, there's a little bit of a bend in the barrel, just a tiny, 20 thou across the barrel, but I can see this bend. It kind of pisses me off. At some point I'll fix it, but yeah. Buy it versus make it. Yeah, I think I've covered all the aspects of that. Dianora5 says, do I ever recycle parts from obsolete previous one-day builds? Yeah, totally. But usually it's mechanical parts. Like if we did a thing here for a client where I made a steam-generated spinning ball, Archimedean ball. I can't even remember what it's called now. I'm so age brain. Anyway, I definitely took that entire device apart when we were all done, and I'm still using its bearings and pillow blocks and 80/20 rail. Yeah. A good shop involves a lot of cannibalism. There's a t-shirt. Absolutely. You have to take things apart and reconfigure them. Like, that is part of every single shop and every single shop practice. Totally. Thomas Essonask asks a question that leads to some interesting stuff to talk about. He says, in the Gun Vault video, you mentioned how extended exposure to Ray's blaster caused its aesthetics to grow on you. Has the obsessive nature of other replica builds similarly shifted your appreciation for a design from mixed to passionate? Or has the reverse ever happened? Okay, to start with the last part first, the reverse has never happened. Building something always makes me fall in love with it. Yeah, I fall in love deeply, passionately, in torrid love with everything that I build. I mean, you should see me at night. I go home. Again, this build I just did last week, which you'll see in a few weeks. I didn't know how it was going to go. It went really well. And I'm so happy with how it went. I spent all of this weekend looking at pictures of the build on my phone. That is love, man. That is like high school puppy love, is the way I feel about the builds in the middle of them. The Orange Aces spacesuit, the shuttle suit, the pumpkin suit, as they call it. ACES stands for Advanced Crew Escape System. And this is the suit you saw every shuttle crew wear. Well, actually, it looked like every shuttle crew ever wore this suit. It turns out that they, pre a certain time, they were wearing a slightly different suit. But for the longest portion of the shuttle's lifespan, astronauts were wearing the Orange Aces suit. And I have to admit, I did not love that suit. I didn't think, like, that suit didn't move me the way the Apollo suit does, right? Like, the Apollo suit to me is like looking at a model of the HMS Beagle, Darwin's ship. It's such an artifact. It's such an important artifact. Hang on, I'm just trying to. However, when I decided to replicate the Aces suit, very quickly, as I'm making the drawings, I'm noticing that old familiar feeling. And Ryan Nagata has talked to me about this too. He's had the same experience of like building something and liking it much more post the build. It's almost... I'm going to finish with a song recommendation. You should go online right after this live stream and watch a YouTube video of Tim Minchin, M-I-N-C-H-I-N, an amazing comedian, singer, actor. He's a good friend of mine. Tim Minchin is a goddamn genius. And Tim has a song called If I Didn't Have You. And it has a funny chorus, because the chorus is, if I didn't have you, I'd probably have someone else. And then he goes on to describe all of the ways in which being in love with someone has nothing to do with fate. It's about work. And in the end, I think of If I Didn't Have You as the most, and look, I also know Tim and his partner, and I know that they've been together since they were high school sweethearts. And like, I've been around them. I feel their incredible thing that they have with each other, right? So I know how romantic he is. And I think If I Didn't Have You is one of the most romantic songs ever written, because what he's saying is love isn't some lightning bolt, and it's not fate from the sky. It's work that we do with each other in order, kind of a symbiotic empathy or something. That's how he puts it in the song. It's so great. I love this song so much. If you listen to it once and you think that's a shitty song or that's a bad take on romance, listen to it again, because I swear it sort of changed my whole perception. This is the longest way of saying that just like real human love, which takes work and effort and time and involves unpleasantness as well as the highest degrees of pleasantness, so working in the shop is also about the same thing. And when I put my time and my energy and my hands into a build like the Aces suit, there's no way I can finish it without being madly in love with the product. And it's not the product that I made, it's the product I brought into being. I know that sounds like two halves of the same thing, but like it's not my aesthetic thing. I'm matching something that existed. So I really am falling in love with that thing. And it happens with every build, even if I'm slightly ambivalent at the beginning. That is a terrific way to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for these lovely questions. Thanks for your support. Your support makes all of this possible. That we get to come in here and build stuff and shoot absurd things. We shot some absolutely ridiculously absurd stuff today that's going to be in a video coming up soon. I can't wait for you to see. And as always, I will be doing another live stream in the next couple of weeks. We'll keep you posted. Stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you next time. Adam out. Cheers. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.